My dear brothers and sisters, if your heart is heavy with a grief that words cannot touch, if you feel a void that seems to swallow all light, know that you are not alone. Today, we speak of a pain that is universal, yet feels uniquely personal, the pain of losing a loved one. We ask the question that echoes in the silent rooms of our hearts. Why Allah? Why would you take them away? It feels like a punishment. It feels like a door has been slammed shut in the fortress of your life. But what if I told you that this is not a demolition, but a divine relocation? What if this loss is not an act of cruelty, but a profound act of a mercy we cannot yet see? The pain of loss, particularly when it touches someone we love with a fierceness that defines our very world, has a way of shrinking our universe to the size of the ache in our chest. In that raw, gut-wrenching moment of separation, the world loses its color, its sound, its meaning. Our immediate human reaction is one of profound possessiveness. My mother, my child, my spouse, and my friend. The language of ownership is etched into our grief. We feel as though something that was intrinsically, undeniably ours has been ripped away, leaving a jagged tear in the fabric of our existence. It is from within this storm of emotion that the agonizing question erupts. Why Allah? Why would you take what is mine? To begin healing, to find a footing on solid ground amidst this tempest, we must undertake the most difficult yet liberating spiritual recalibration. We must re-examine the concept of ownership itself. The foundational truth we must anchor our hearts to is that every soul, including our own and those we love most dearly, belongs ultimately and exclusively to Allah. He is the owner, the originator, the sustainer, and the recaller of all souls. Our loved ones were never, in the absolute sense, ours to keep. To believe so is a beautiful, yet tragic, misunderstanding of our relationship with them and with our Creator. Think of it in terms of a priceless, irreplaceable masterpiece, a manuscript of breathtaking beauty, a jewel of unparalleled radiance. A benevolent and loving King, out of His infinite grace, entrusts this masterpiece to your care. He places it in your hands and says, "Look after this for me. Cherish it. Learn from it. Let its beauty bring you joy and its presence in your life remind you of my love for you. Care for it as if it were the most precious thing in the world, for indeed it is. For a period of time, days, months, years, this treasure is in your custody. You study it, you admire it, you love it. It becomes the centerpiece of your home, a source of your daily happiness. You share it with others and its light illuminates your life. But you never, for a single moment, forget that it is a trust. You know, with the certainty that underpins your every interaction with it, that it belongs to the King, and that one day a messenger will come from the palace to return it to its rightful place in the royal treasury. When that messenger finally arrives, your heart will break. You will feel the emptiness where the masterpiece once resided. You will mourn its absence from your daily view. But would you dare to clutch it to your chest and refuse to let it go? Would you scream at the messenger, "This is mine, you cannot take it"? To do so would be to fundamentally misunderstand the entire arrangement. It would be an act of profound ingratitude for the time you were granted with it, and a rebellion against the King who entrusted it to you in the first place. The grief is real, the sense of loss is profound, but it is tempered by the understanding that this was always the terms of the trust. The King has not stolen from you, he has reclaimed what was always eternally his. This is the Islamic concept of amana, a sacred trust. Our loved ones are the most profound amana we will ever be given. Their souls, their spirits, their presence in our lives are on loan from the divine. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, decided that for a specific, preordained period known only to Him, your path and theirs would intertwine. He gifted you their laughter, their guidance, their love, their very existence as a means of His grace upon you. He allowed you the immense privilege of knowing them, loving them, and being shaped by them. The duration of this loan is not random or cruel. It is precisely measured according to a wisdom that our limited, earthly minds cannot fully comprehend. The Quran states unequivocally, "And it is Allah who created you, then He will take you in death, And among you is he who is returned to the most decrepit old age, so that he will not know after having had been knowledge a thing. Indeed, Allah is knowing and competent. So Quran 16:7. The lifespan of every soul is decreed by the all-knowing. When the appointed time arrives and the angels come to gently extract the soul, Allah is not taking your person. He is recalling His creation. He is welcoming back a soul that originated from Him and is now returning to Him. To frame this as a theft is to place ourselves in a position of ownership we never possessed. And it is this very illusion of ownership that magnifies our suffering exponentially. It turns a natural, though deeply painful, process of return into a perceived act of divine injustice. Letting go of this illusion is not an act of coldness or a denial of our love. On the contrary, it is the highest expression of love and faith. It is acknowledging that our love for them is secondary to the love of the one who created them for us. It is trusting that the same God who gifted them to us out of His mercy is now recalling them out of a mercy that encompasses both them and us, a mercy we may not be able to see from our limited vantage point. It is accepting that the owner, who is Al-Wadud, the most loving, Al-Hakim, the most wise, and Al-Rahim, the most merciful, has made a decision that is ultimately for a greater good. So, when the pain feels overwhelming, and the question, why did you take them, threatens to consume you, gently remind your heart, He did not take what was mine. He has reclaimed what was always His, and I am eternally grateful for the sacred trust of the time I was given. This shift in perspective does not erase the grief, but it does sanctify it. It transforms the ache of loss into a testament of a beautiful, temporary gift, and it places your relationship with your Creator on the solid foundation of submission and trust, which is the only foundation that can truly support the weight of a human heart in mourning. In the silent, hollow aftermath of a loved one's passing, our world is anchored firmly in the tangible reality we have lost. We feel the empty space at the table. We miss the sound of their voice in the hallway. We long for the comfort of their physical presence. Our grief is a testament to the beauty of what was, and it is a pain that is deeply, profoundly human. From this limited, earth-bound perspective, death appears as the ultimate tragedy, a cruel and final ending that severs the most precious bonds. We see only a closing door, a light extinguished, a story concluded. It is from within this narrow frame of reference that our most agonizing questions arise. How could a loving God inflict such a wound? How could this be anything but a punishment? But what if we were to shift our gaze? What if we were to attempt through the fragile lens of faith to see beyond the veil of this temporary world? The Quran provides a perspective that is both jarring and profoundly comforting. And the life of this world is not but amusement and diversion, but indeed the home of the hereafter is the true life, if only they knew. Quran 29 and 6:4. This world, with all its joys and sorrows, its triumphs and its heartbreaks, is not the final destination. It is a fleeting testing ground, a transient stage in the eternal journey of the soul. For the believer who has striven to live a life of faith, sincerity, and righteousness, death is not a descent into darkness. It is, in the most profound sense, a glorious promotion. Imagine a dedicated student who has toiled for years in a demanding, often difficult academic program. The hours are long, the subjects are challenging, and there are moments of exhaustion and self-doubt. But this student perseveres, fueled by the vision of graduation day, the moment when the struggles will culminate in a reward beyond the confines of the classroom. Now, imagine if that student became so comfortable in the routine of studying, so attached to the campus and the library, that when graduation day finally arrived, they wept and begged to stay, viewing their release not as a triumph, but as a loss. We would see the folly in this. We would understand that the entire purpose of the struggle was to reach this moment of transition, this elevation to a higher, more fulfilling stage of existence. This world, in the divine scheme, is that classroom, that testing ground. Its trials, including the ultimate trial of separation, are part of the curriculum. For a believer, every prayer uttered in darkness, every act of charity given in secrecy, Every moment of patience in the face of hardship is an answered question on the final exam of life. When the angel of death arrives for such a soul, it is not a merciless executioner but a divine escort sent to usher the soul from the realm of trial to the realm of reward. The Quran describes this moment with breathtaking beauty. For the righteous, O serene soul, return to your Lord well pleased and pleasing to Him. So enter among my righteous servants and enter my paradise. That's Quran 899-1738. Can we, in our deepest grief, truly listen to these words? Well pleased and pleasing. The soul is content with what Allah has decreed for it, and Allah is pleased with the soul's submission. This is not a termination, it is a homecoming celebrated by the angels and welcomed by the most merciful. Our sorrow, then, is fundamentally selfish. And this is a natural, understandable, and human selfishness. We mourn for our loss, for the silence in our homes, for the future memories that will now never be made. We are the ones left behind in the classroom, staring at the empty desk where our loved one once sat, feeling the ache of their absence. But for them, if they lived a life of faith, the final exam is over. The struggle is done. They have been promoted to a state of existence where there is no more pain, no more fear, and no more sorrow. They are in the boundless mercy of Allah, in gardens beneath which rivers flow. Would we, if we truly loved them, truly wish to call them back from such a state? Would we beg Allah to return them from the everlasting gardens of paradise to this world of disease, decay, anxiety, and inevitable loss? To do so would be the opposite of love. It would be a desire born from our own need, oblivious to their supreme gain. This perspective does not demand that we cease to miss them. The Prophet Muhammad himself wept at the loss of his son Ibrahim, and when his companions expressed surprise, he said, "The eyes shed tears and the heart is grieved, but we do not say anything except that which pleases our Lord." This is the balance of faith. It allows for the human heart to feel its natural grief, while the soul rests in the certainty of divine promise. Our tears are for ourselves, for the temporary separation, and that is permitted. But underlying those tears must be a current of profound gratitude and even joy for the one who has been granted their eternal reward. We are not saying goodbye to them in a final sense. We are, in truth, sending them ahead to a better place, a place we ourselves aspire to reach. Their departure becomes the most powerful reminder of our own purpose and our own eventual return. It reinforces the truth that our ultimate goal is not to build a permanent home in this fleeting world, but to live in such a way that we earn the promotion they have already received. In this light, our grief is transformed. It is no longer a hopeless wallowing in loss, but a motivated sorrow that fuels our own journey towards the same divine mercy that has already embraced our beloved.